This says I am live. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? All right. My headphones are not. Can you all hear me? Can you hear me? So you can't hear me. Okay. All right. So we are live. Welcome to my first live experience. I'm learning the tricks, but today's all about you and answering your questions. I'm a little bit early, so we're going to wait for everybody to get here. Leave a comment if you have any questions. My goal is to answer them today. Um, I do have a couple of things that I do want to talk about just to celebrate uh, the Financial Literacy Month. And then I want to talk about the Econ games and the experience there, and then also help you catch up with the things that I'm doing in my life. Um, April is a really busy month. A lot of celebrations, a lot of new opportunities happening for the students. And yeah, it's an exciting time. All right, Asia, welcome. Antoine, all right, I see y'all chatting. I think everybody knows everybody here. At least we saw each other last week during the Econ games, which was a fabulous time. Students did a fantastic job. It's one of those things that, as a faculty member, I keep on being impressed by my students and the things that they do, the the opportunities that they take advantage of, the leadership qualities that they develop, how it evolves, and most importantly, and I told them this, the most exciting part about watching them grow at the Econ Games is watching them surprise themselves. So shout out to the students, but also shout out to all the judges, everybody that made it happen. Antoine, thank you so much for being there and being a judge. Dr. Patel, I see you in the chat. Thank you. This would not have been possible without you. You did a fantastic job, an amazing job organizing at the University of Kentucky. Um, so exciting times. All right. Um, so as I said, this time is about you all. So make sure that you're leaving some questions over here and helping me do my first live. I am a little bit nervous. I will be upfront and honest there. There is a little bit extra pressure associated with being live, and so you all are helping me get through that. So I want to talk about Financial Literacy Month. April is Financial Literacy Month. I love financial literacy. For the past, before I took on this new role, previous to that, I was running the Center for Economic Education. And over the 6 years that I was doing that, I saw how much effort at the state level we've been pushing financial literacy uh, to to become part of the high school curriculum. While I love that movement, there is a bit of a fear that I have, and that fear is we are forgetting the economics part of it. So I'm glad to see that October is turning into Economic Education Month. But I also want to make sure that the teachers, the people that are learning or wanting to improve their financial literacy, recognize that financial literacy finds its foundations in economics. You cannot understand financial literacy correctly without fully understanding economics. Now, there are some financial literacy gurus out there that will tell you, hey, here's the 8 steps to financial freedom. Um, but that teaches you to be a follower of steps. And the world economy is more complex, and there's a lot of things going on. What I want my students to be able to do, and the thing that I preach, is things will change. And I want you to be able to navigate the change that happens in the economy. That means you need to understand the underlying aspects of human behaviors, markets, and as things change, how do you evolve? How does your decision making evolve with it? So it's good to recognize that it's Financial Literacy Month, but don't forget the economics of it. So invest in learning economics. I am biased. I'm a big believer in the world of, big believer in how economics influences every aspect of your life. Yes, Mrs. A, I see your comment. Isn't everything around economics? 100%. All right, so those are the two things that I wanted to highlight. If you are in the Northern Kentucky area, this upcoming week is a busy week. We have the Economic Real Estate Panel happening at Northern Kentucky University, so make sure to stop by, check it out. We have 94 people registered. It is open to the public if you want to understand real estate markets, mortgage markets, and the economics of it. We're going to have economists and practitioners, real estate brokers, real estate agents, mortgage brokers attending. So this is for you. So take advantage of it. And then on Friday, we have our research lunch hour at the Hale College of Business. So if you are interested in uh, the the economics of tourism, Dr. Sam Al Farhan is going to be presenting about his research journey. So stop by, check it out. Would love to have you all there. Yes, Mrs. A, I see your comment. You will be there for everything. I appreciate the support. All right. So I've given you all a good 4 minutes. Let me check your questions. What do you all have to say? What Antoine's asking, what advice do you have for new graduate students? It depends. Are you talking about master students, or are you talking about PhD students? Because those are two different animals. If you're talking about master level programs, then my advice to you is you're going to learn a lot more about the technical aspects than in an undergraduate situation. But research is not going to be emphasized in this situation. Some graduate programs focus on research, but most don't know. So don't do that. Sorry. So what I recommend is assume that one day you're going to do a PhD. So therefore, start working on understanding the research process. If you are attending a graduate program, most master programs are allow speakers to come in to present, attend those. If I could go back to my master's and PhD, the one thing that I would have done better or more of is attend public seminars. In fact, undergraduate too, I highly recommend. That's where a lot of this exchange and the cutting edge research is being presented. A lot of it isn't published yet, so you get to see how the research is developed and how it grows, and you get to learn about the theory, the basics, the foundations in your classes, and then these seminars are the added value beyond. So that's the advice that I would have is get invested in the culture of research and the curiosity around research. So don't marginalize that aspect. Other than that, if you're doing a master's, it's going to go by quick. 1 year in a master's program flies by, and it's hard to develop relationships with faculty in a 1 year program. But by going to seminars, it will help. And the reason I say that is if you're like me, eventually you'll do a PhD. And if you're doing a PhD, you need reference letters. You need somebody to talk about your ability to complete graduate level courses. And if you haven't invested in those relationships, then it's going to be really difficult for you to ask for a reference or recommendation letter. So get invested with faculty. if you work with me in an undergraduate setting, then you know this is still my advice for undergraduates as well. All right. Thank you, Antoine, for that question. Let's see. Do I have fears surrounding the use of ChatGPT by students in education? No, I love it. I love ChatGPT. My advice is learn how to use this new technology. There's a lot of fear right now about how this is going to replace you as an employee. I don't think that's true. I think people that know how to leverage this new technology to become more efficient, to expedite thoughts, to produce new information are going to move up faster. So I am totally against this whole idea of not allowing students to use ChatGPT. Um, in fact, one of the things that I was thinking about is doing a lecture at NKU on how I use ChatGPT on a daily basis. One of my toughest part of doing any work is the starting. Like that first draft of anything is the most difficult thing for me. Maybe it's because, English language is a second language for me. I'm not sure what it is, but it's really difficult. ChatGPT helps me knock out that outline, and then I could get started and move forward from there. So no, I am not worried about ChatGPT. Let me rephrase that. What I am worried about is our reaction to ChatGPT and how we might be hindering students from leveraging this new technology to improve their learning and their outcomes. So, Becca, thank you for that question. All right, Abinam. Okay, so Abinam's question is: would you suggest taking econ and stats double major or econ major with a stats business analytics minor? My dream career revolves around data analysis and research work. Yep, it's for me. All right. So on YouTube, my most viral video is why study economics. And under that video, I have a lot of questions about, hey, this is my situation. What's your advice? And it's always a variation of, should I study economics and humanities? Should I study economics and business? Should I study economics and stats? Um, Abinam, I'm going to say this to you just like I say it to everybody. Whatever you decide to do, invest in it fully, and the rewards will be felt, right? So, in other words, do what you think you like and then go from there. Yes, there's amazing careers with economics and stats, fantastic careers. But there's also amazing careers with economics and marketing, right? Economics and finance. So it's more about what do you want to do? And what you said in your statement is you want to do data analysis. And if that's the case, then a good understanding of stats is important. Um, so yes, you know, the quick answer is yeah, do that. The more complicated question is that truly what you want to do? And that involves a little bit more investment. And I'm excited to work with you and continue to learn about what your interests are and what your opportunities ahead of you are. All right, let's see. Should non-econ majors participate in the econ games? Okay, so that's a really good question. The answer to that is yes. The the statement earlier made in the chat is, um, economics is everything, right? Or surrounds every aspect of decision making. So whatever your major is, marketing, humanities, philosophy, um, there is room for you in the econ games. The question that you need to ask yourself, and actually one of the things that happens through the econ games, is individuals start to realize what their value added is in a group setting, in a business setting, in an organizational setting. And that's why I love the econ games, because it forces you to ask, what value can I bring, my thought process, my skill set, bring to this group setting? And what I find is people find their value in themselves through this high pressure environment that forces them to ask, "What can I do to help others?" So, Parker, yes, there's room for any major in the econ games. I hope you join us in the future. Antoine's asking, how many languages do you speak? Technically, I speak Romani, Arabic, and English. Um, I will say that speaking languages is riding a bike. If you don't utilize it, your skill set depreciates. And being in the United States, um, my Arabic gets rusty. So one of the things that I love about going back to Oman is, it takes 1 to maybe 3 days for me to start feeling comfortable again and speaking Arabic. But those are the two languages that I speak. Okay. Parker's asking if my internal thoughts are in English. So currently, yes. But the more time that I spend in an Arab speaking environment, and this is how I start to know if I'm feeling comfortable with the language that is surrounding me, is what happens to my thoughts. The longer that I'm in Oman when I visit, the quicker or the more likely my thoughts are in Arabic. But my dreams are in both languages, actually. So when I'm dreaming, both languages are spoken in the dreams. Parker, great question. All right. Let's see. Sorry, I'm looking at questions over here. So it looks like Antoine had a question about field of economics. What is my favorite field of economics? Obviously, industrial organization and labor economics. I'm an applied microeconomist, so I like data and I like explaining how firms behave in markets and how individuals or how labor markets revolve around policy or are impacted by policy or market changes like the COVID pandemic and how it impacted labor force participation rates. These are all questions that I like looking at. All right. So, what I need from you is I need you to tell me if you're enjoying this live, please leave a like. One thing that I'm struggling with, I'll share with you a little bit of vulnerability over here, is what's the future of this YouTube channel? It's a lot of work to keep the content flowing, but what helps is this engagement. So one thing that I had been missing is creating YouTube content is so lonely. It's a one-sided thing. You're by yourself, the premiere goes off, and then you're just looking to see if people are viewing your content as a measure of, are you influencing or creating impact? And what I'm needing now is more of a community. That's really why I created this YouTube channel. So I'm hoping that this live is something that resonates with you all. If it does, please leave a like. If you have any ideas of how frequent these lives should be or how to make them more impactful for you, I would love to hear your thoughts. So thank you in advance for sharing, liking, and being here today. Thank you, Parker. I have a switcher. I have an ATM Mini Pro that allows me to switch. I could actually also share my screen. So if you wanted to see what my screen looks like, whoa, there you go. So, yep. All right, let me see. How about something in the news that is on my mind lately? Okay, so going to the Econ games and coming back from the Econ games I am now recovering from the Econ games. I don't know if anybody that's been to the Econ games, how you're feeling. Leave a comment in the chat. But recovery's been really difficult because it was an intense 48 hours. Um, but um, but so I've been away from the news. One thing that YouTube keeps you humble with is about a year ago, I posted a video about how sanctions were going to impact the Russian economy. And I had all these people leaving comments that I was wrong. I'm not a good economist because I got that one wrong. The Russian economy is strong. But today, this morning, and about 6 months ago, somebody left a comment said, "Oh, this video aged well," kind of sarcastic. But today, somebody left a comment and said it actually aged well. So I went and caught up on the news. It turns out that the sanctions have actually started to they had been impacting the economy, but the Russian data providers had stopped providing data, so it was really hard to see inside what's happening in the economy. Um, I mean, the economics of it. Once you cut the flow of funds, trade, currency exchange, there's really no way forward. So, one thing I learned about creating YouTube content is everybody has an opinion, and not every comment needs a response. But so that's something in the news that I was intrigued by. Um, Obviously, this coming week is an important week. If you're like most of my students, then you know that Friday is going to be a really special day. Leave in the comment what you think Friday is and why it's special before I tell you what happens on Friday. Yes, Antoine, gotta love the YouTube critics. Um, all right. Yes, yes, it is Jobs Friday, so we get jobs data this Friday, and we'll see what's happening to labor force participation rates, unemployment rate, wages. So that's something that's going to be busy. I'm going to be busy watching the data come out this week about the employment markets. All right, let's see. How would you define success in life? Is there a correlation between success and happiness? Theoretically, yes, there should be a relationship between success and happiness. Um, the way I define success is, are you happy? In fact, the mentorship that I provide my students is asking the question, what makes you happy? What do you want to do that's going to make you happy? What's the mission? What's the passion? What's the thing that drives you to want to improve, to grow, to make an impact in the world? And that's what you should pursue. And so, yes, success and happiness to me are one and the same thing. If you are happy, then you are successful. Um, by different measures, by the way different people define it, success and happiness can be different, right? So if success is how much money you have in your bank account, or if success is a job title only, then yeah, there could be a divergence between success and happiness, but not the way I define it, because I define success as a function of your happiness. So if you're happy, therefore you are successful. Um, so Reach, I hope that answers your question. All right. So I've wanted to go until 12:30. You all been great. It's 12:21. Um, what other questions do you all have? I really appreciate you all being here today. As I said, coming into this experience, I was super nervous just because I've never done a live before. And the reason that I keep on reiterating that is because I have some of my students over here and they don't believe their mentor or faculty member ever gets nervous. Yeah, I was really nervous. I think Mrs. A could tell you about that too. But you all been great. I appreciate it. I don't know what next week's video is going to be, but thank you, Mrs. A. Thank you, Reach. I appreciate it. So I don't know what next week's video is going to be. I think I am going to go back to a little bit of economic lessons. Um, things that you should know about economic terminology. Those are usually fun stuff. Should we do a Q&A session soon? Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. The Colbert questionnaire. I don't know what that is, Mrs. A. How do you push through self-doubt so that you can put yourself in uncomfortable growth situations? Parker, great question. The way you push yourself through discomfort to find growth is, at least I'll tell you how I got through this experience. It was through the community, the people around me. I did admit to them that I was nervous. They're like, you got to do this. The world needs you to speak on camera. So, having people around you that are going to cheer you on and that are going to encourage you to grow is really important. So, self doubt is something that happens to all of us. We all um, imposter syndrome exists, but having the right people around you to encourage you, to push you, give you that little nudge towards growth is really important. That's why your friends matter. That's why your circle is really important. So pick the right people around you. All right. Okay. This was Mrs. A says she gives herself mantras depending on the situation. That's one way of going about it. Which one is your favorite? Um, By the way, if anybody hasn't seen Jenny's Substack, I highly recommend her latest Substack on leadership quotes from the Ted Lasso show. That's one of my favorite shows right now. Ted Lasso is a I'm a huge fan of the show. So check out that Substack. I should include it in the description of this video. By the way, should I keep this video up or should I just go ahead and take it down after the live is over? Leave it up, okay? All right. All right. So I guess I'll close out over here. We got 5 minutes left. One thing that I want to make sure is to hear from you all about what content resonates with you. What are the things that you like? This YouTube channel is for you. There's a lot of things that I could talk about for hours about, but if it's not important to you, then what's the point? So when you get a chance, leave a comment in this on this video. Tell me what type of videos matter to you. As I said, economics influences every decision of your life. So what are the decisions that you are trying to make where you think a little bit of a economic analysis or economic way of thinking will help you get there? So with that said, I am going to end this 5 minutes earlier unless somebody asks me a really exciting question. All right, Mrs. A should be on screen. Well, yeah, I've been trying to do a podcast type of system, but which I think we still might have room for that, a podcast Q&A or podcast discussion. Maybe we could add entrepreneurship as a subject matter, since entrepreneurship is part of economics. Favorite stock for 2023. Diversify your portfolio. Don't pick one stock. If anybody's pushing you stocks, run away. Diversified portfolio is the best way to move forward. I am boring. I will not chase stocks. This is not financial advice. This is just economic theory. Diversified portfolios are the only way to manage the risk. So a podcast would be amazing. You know what would be fantastic, Asia, is if us fellows, Econ fellows, can start a Econ Media Lab where we create content, whether it's data visualization content for Instagram or whether it's YouTube videos, whether it's podcasts. But maybe we could add that as a wish list item. All right. Jay LeBlanc, thank you for being here. I like the occasional economics in the news segments, what you think we ought to be paying attention to that maybe we are not. Okay, that's a really great one. I appreciate that advice, Jay. For this week, labor market, let's see what the unemployment rate looks like. That will be Friday. But before Friday, there's going to be payroll numbers that come out that will give us an indication of what's going to possibly happen on Friday. Whatever, well, not whatever. If the news is too good in the labor market, expect the stock market to react negatively, um, because that would indicate maybe more future interest rate hikes. If the interest rate hikes have already started to hit the labor market, then we will start to see the number of layoffs or unemployment rate tick up. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. I don't know which way it's going to go. I'm not going to predict the future, but these are the things that I'm thinking about. Sana Belushi, how are you? Thank you for being here, Mom. Appreciate you. I think a discussion around your love for research. All right. So I've got 2 minutes. I'm going to tell you a new research thing that I'm working on. Actually, Becca's here. Becca Wilson and Fawaz Abdulaziz are working with me on a research project looking at the financial literacy of entrepreneurs. Um, and it's part of a sequence of financial literacy or financial understanding papers that I'm working on. But last Friday, we spent an hour and a half talking about what is financial literacy, how do people invest in education, specifically financial literacy education. Um, if you want to learn more about the student perspective, reach out to Becca. She will tell you if she enjoyed her time or not. Um, I enjoyed my time. The hour and a half, the 90 minutes went by so fast. And in fact, we probably could have talked longer, but I had to leave on a Friday at 4:30. So I'm really excited to work with the students on research. That's my next push academic professionally, is to involve as many students in the research process. Hopefully soon you will hear about some good news about a paper that I talked about last year with Brooklyn Stevens. Keep your fingers crossed. But I'll leave that with a teaser there. Thank you all. This was fantastic. Have an amazing Sunday. And inshallah, I'll see you in the future. And keep the comments coming. Y'all have a good one. See you.